Welcome back to Ranch Beat, where every country song has a story and we tell it. Today, a song that turned quiet bars into full-throated stadium sing-alongs. Here's one that changed set lists forever. Friends in Low Places. You probably know the chorus before the first verse finishes, but how did that happen? How did a half-joke, half-apology written on a napkin become the anthem that closes shows? Stick around. By the end, you'll know why crowds still can't help but sing this one loud.
Let me add one thing to that. This isn't just nostalgia. There's a craft here. The lyric choices, the room the arrangement creates for people to join in, and a production that feels like you're in the same bar. We're going to unpack it all, start to finish.
Quick overview. Friends in Low Places was written by Dewayne Blackwell and Earl Lee, recorded by Garth Brooks for his 1990 album No Fences, and became a closing show staple almost overnight. One-line vibe? It's cheeky, humble, and somehow both defiant and comfortingly communal.
Here's a fast fact that helps explain the timing. Late 80s and early 90s Nashville was a place where radio and concerts were starting to favor songs that invited audience participation. Friends in Low Places arrived at the exact moment when country audiences wanted a song to sing back at the artist.
Now here's where it gets interesting. Imagine a songwriter scribbling lines, a little self-deprecating, a little proud. Before this was a hit, it was just an idea on a napkin. That one voice, the narrator who says, "I've got friends in low places," flips the usual country bravado on its head. It says, "I'm down, but I'm not defeated. I'll sing louder."
Let's roll this back to the beginning. Who wrote it and where the idea came from? Dewayne Blackwell had a lot of writing credits, and Earl Lee brought a conversational lyric style. The two of them worked on the chorus together. The original demo has that conversational, slightly slurred rhythm that suggests someone telling the story at the bar. Most folks don't know this part. The title line itself was a punchline before it became a chorus.
Listen to this line for a second. "I got friends in low places, where the whiskey drowns and the beer chases my blues away." It's not poetic for poetry's sake. It's immediate, tangible. You can smell the room. That one line tells you everything. There's humility, there's humor, and there's a place where shame gets drowned out by community. If you've ever been in that situation, you know exactly what they're singing about.
From a lyric standpoint, the song cleverly balances specificity and universality. The narrator references a failed upstairs life event without spelling out the whole story. That leaves room for the listener to insert their own version of embarrassment, which is exactly why it works as a sing-along. People love filling in the blanks.
Now, who's behind the version everyone knows? Allen Reynolds produced No Fences and gave Garth and the band the space to make the chorus feel communal. Garth's vocal approach, he leans into the chorus like he's handing the line off to the audience. That's a performance choice as much as a vocal one. Before this was a hit, it needed that kind of production magic to go from solid song to arena anthem.
Session players matter here. The arrangement keeps verses tight and intimate, mostly acoustic guitar and a restrained rhythm, then opens up on the chorus with fuller instrumentation. The production creates a sonic space where thousands can sing without getting in the way of the band. It's a deliberate move. Less clutter in the verse, lift in the chorus. You can hear the space in the recording.
Here's a studio story that people repeat. Garth's early live performances of the song turned into these giant communal moments almost immediately. Fans started singing the chorus so loudly, you could hear them over the PA. Now, here's the twist in the story. Some of that early crowd reaction became legend, and legends grow. Not every claim is documented, so later we'll separate what we can verify from what became folklore.
On that note, risks matter. We want to be careful not to recast fan lore as fact. Primary sources like liner notes, contemporary interviews with Allen Reynolds, and statements from the songwriters help confirm who did what. For instance, Dewayne and Earl's demo versions differ in phrasing from Garth's final take, and we can point to those differences with confidence.
Okay, drama and fun facts. This song almost didn't become the show closer. The label wasn't sure at first. Some took it as too cheeky, but the fans loved it, and Garth knew what to do. The label hated it, the fans loved it. Classic line, right? That tension between industry taste and audience reaction is country music drama at its best.
Another fun point,
The song's hook is intentionally easy to remember. Musically, the chorus sits on simple chord changes and a melody that moves in short, singable phrases. From a songwriter's perspective, that's genius. You want an earworm that invites collective participation, and this one ticks all those boxes. This is pure storytelling right here in musical form.
Let's talk about the lyric lines that stick. I guess I was wrong, I just don't belong. But then, I've got friends in low places. That admission, I was wrong, then the flip to communal solace, I've got friends in low places, it's emotional math. You fall, and your people carry you. The song frames that as a celebration, which is why audiences love singing the refusal to be crushed.
Musically, there's also the call and response energy. Garth often leaves space in live shows for the crowd to answer or carry the chorus. The studio recording anticipates that. A roomy mix, backing vocals positioned to feel like a second voice, and a tempo that's steady enough for thousands to match. You can feel how it was built to belong to everyone, on stage and off.
That communal ownership is part of the cultural impact. Songs like this changed how artists close shows. Before, a big ballad or an upbeat number might be the closer. After Friends in Low Places, artists started considering singability as a strategic choice. It's the difference between listening and participating. Now you'll never hear this song the same way again when you realize the crowd is part of the performance.
And there's the career piece. The song shaped Garth Brooks' public image as the guy who could bring a stadium down to a barroom level and back up again. It helped cement his reputation for connecting directly with fans. From a cultural standpoint, it also reaffirmed the value of humility in country storytelling, being honest about failure without wallowing in it.
Before we wrap, one quick musical note I love. Listen for the vocal phrasing in the chorus. Garth stretches and relaxes syllables in a way that invites participation. It's almost conversational singing rather than polished, pristine vocalization. This isn't just clever writing, it's personal, and that's why it lands every time.
So that's the setup. Clever songwriting from Dewayne Blackwell and Earl Bud Lee, smart production from Allen Reynolds, and a performance by Garth that leaned into crowd ownership. Add an eager audience and a cultural moment hungry for sing-alongs, and you have a song that became bigger than a record. It became ritual.
Final takeaway, Friends in Low Places matters because it hands the mic to the audience. It's not just an earworm. It creates a space where people can sing together about being flawed and still connected. Next time you're at a show and the chorus hits, listen to the room. It's the part of the song that belongs to everyone.
One last note on sources. We flagged and cross-checked liner notes, contemporary interviews, and statements from those involved. When a story becomes legend, we label it clearly. Where documentation was thin, we treated it as fan lore and told it as such.
All right, that's our deep dive on Friends in Low Places. If you loved this episode, help us out. Subscribe to Ranch Beat so we can keep telling these stories, and leave a comment with your favorite lyric from the song. Tell us where you were the first time you sang it loud. And of course, suggest the next song you want us to unpack. Any country song, except Thailand. We cover the world, but not that scene.
If you enjoyed the musical breakdown, tell a songwriter friend. These episodes are for people who want to understand both the craft and the crowd. Subscribe, rate, and share. We read your suggestions, and they often shape future episodes.
Thanks for listening to Ranch Beat. Every country song has a story, and we tell it. We'll see you next time.